Of course, that's Marshall Montano and a track called Welcome Home. I just thought I'd let you guys know. It's for those in North America, prices of flights are dropping. Flights are dropping. The prices. Take advantage of it. I think that's only within the US and Canada. I don't think it's international flight. That's for those in North America. All right. So the guys are back. Let me just slow this down and get out of it here, gentlemen. How are we sounding now?
I think we're much better now.
We're much better. Yeah. All righty, we're much better. Right.
Good morning, Charmaine, and good morning, all the listeners and viewers out there. Yeah, we are back.
Yep, sounds good so far. Tell us what you think, people. Tell us what you think. It'll be sounding a lot better and back to normal.
Yeah, you were talking earlier on.
I didn't send it to my email, so
I did though.
I didn't get it. Let me just
it's a preset that goes to all, so that would not be correct.
Like okay, yeah, just have to do it inbox.
If you
refresh your mail.
All right, there, Capitan. I hit a refresh. Yes, sorry, Paul. What do you saying?
The video that you all were talking about earlier, very disturbing. Well, two disturbing videos. One of a young man who got his head blown open, and I don't know if the person who sent it to me had to blow them out because I said, just put a warning before you send those things now. Because
I haven't seen that one.
The picture was extra. I don't forward those things because it's very disturbing. He has a hole at the side of his head the size of a golf ball.
Yeah.
And he was lying in the road after being shot. Clearly couldn't survive that. And
a local thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Young man. Looks of mixed ethnicity. Very small built person. And that was very disturbing because he seemed to have been shot in the middle of the day on a very busy road.
It was after lunch. Whoa.
Yeah. So you see where the problem is, right, Wendell?
Yeah.
No.
Steve came across.
No, I have the echo.
Steve, you have to turn off your mic on your computer, Steve.
It's off.
I just turned it off. And he's adamant, I just turned it off. It's better now.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah. So that was very, very disturbing. And then the video that I think I shared with you guys last night of these two gentlemen who seemed to be, I don't know if it was a theatrical production, but if it's not.
That's why I gathered it.
If it's not. No, I didn't think it was theatrical at all. But I'm saying that just to cover all bases, that they were talking about their complicity in crimes and murders and who licked down who. And you can see he only get headshots, only top us to the head and literally
the guy at the bottom of that video. I have seen videos from him before that were funny, nothing about gangsterism or nothing like that.
That don't mean that he can't be involved, so gangsters can't be funny too?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying I've seen him before, and I've not seen him in that light. So
well, that is for likes. That's a very disturbing way to get likes.
Well, boy, it is a very disturbing way, but that's what I took away from it. That it was some kind of spoof. I didn't get it from the normal. I didn't think it
was a spoof at all. I think they were getting very irate with each other on the different parts of the school and threatening each other and do let me see you come wrong here and all of that.
Yeah.
So if that is entertainment now, maybe I'm just too old.
Well, yeah, because it's a disturbing style of entertainment. You're right. But that's what I took away from it and you know why too? Because I didn't get it from other sources at all who would normally share those kind of things. I didn't get that video from them at all.
Very disturbing, nonetheless. What else is happening? Well, congratulations to the Soca Warriors. They beat Curacao 1-0 at the Hazley Crawford Stadium yesterday.
Okay, good to hear.
So good news, a little good sporting news there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I understand there's going to be a major shake-up on a popular local television show.
A television show?
What?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that can only be TTT show. TTT have about 3 or 4 presenters there in the morning. Is that where it is? Because TV6 has been Marlon and...
Don't you think if I wanted to say what show it was, I would have said so immediately?
Oh, you didn't say? Okay, so it's not a morning show. We're talking.
It's a show where somebody close to you is being considered to host. Somebody who was close to you, anyway.
Considered a host a TV show? Nah, she ain't able with that.
Why are you calling genders and stuff like that?
I say she ain't able with that. I say she ain't able with that.
Lord have mercy.
Keith Matthews, give me this. Give me the yes. Yeah? Keith Matthews, if you're still listening, give me the yes.
Yeah, give me the scoop as well.
The House of Representatives sits this afternoon.
Oh, I think I know what show you're talking about then. If that's the consideration.
And so the House will sit this afternoon, and the Parliament will have a joint session on Monday, with both houses convening at the start of the fourth session of the 12th Republican Parliament. Her Excellency Christine Kangaloo, ORTT, will address the gathering and inspect the guard outside.
What time?
At 1:30 on Monday.
I am leaving Port of Spain at 1.
Yeah, you should. If you can.
I'm leaving Port of 1:30.
If you don't have to be in Port of Spain on Monday, don't be in Port of Spain on Monday.
What's happening?
Because between that and Spillover, you know?
Monday or today, Paul? Monday.
Today and Monday, but Monday is a joint session. Yeah, today is just the House of Representatives, but Monday will be both houses together with members of the judiciary and dignitaries.
So which one is the inspecting the guards today?
On Monday.
Monday. Okay, so Monday we had to leave Port of Spain by 12.
So, well, Abercrombie Street will more than likely be curtailed.
It'll be closed.
And
you know, listen, you close that little street between Park Street between Abercrombie and St. Vincent, and the whole of Port of Spain is all blocked up, much less Abercrombie. Because now everybody will want to come up Edward Street, Henry Street, and then
add school being out on full. Those two schools that didn't open this week to that by Monday. And schools going out from 1:30, 2 p.m. to that on Monday. And you know what's going to happen.
Oh, geez, honey, it is.
Yep. Not for the first time.
Oh, boy. Wendell, I'm waiting for you to respond to my message.
You sent a message to me?
Just look at the phone. Yeah. So get out of Port of Spain early.
So that's happening. The police commissioner is being described as discourteous by Justice Devendra Rampasad. Mrs. Harewood Christopher inherited a case from her predecessor, McDonald Jacob, related to an FUL, firearms and ammunition, belonging to a man called Lucanus Graham. Justice Rampasad said Mrs. Harewood Christopher was discourteous to the court by failing to give evidence in a judicial review claim brought by the man whose FUL and firearms was seized 2 years ago. Weapons were seized in August of 2021 after the man's brother was able to access one of the weapons and sadly used it to take his own life. Christopher did not depose to an affidavit to fully explain her thought process and why she felt it necessary to detain and continue to detain the firearms, ammunition, and FUL. Well, I don't feel so bad against that to the media. She ain't talking to the courts neither.
She'll start going on that particular show though if what you're hinting happens.
What particular show is that?
Don't pay coy with me now, eh?
What show is that? I didn't call it the show.
The hint you let out just now.
I said somebody who was close to you. That could be most people you know. And people close to you.
But when you marry that with what you said before in terms of a shake-up.
Why are you talking about marriage? I didn't mention no marriage. Yeah, Steve, did I mention marriage?
I don't know what you're talking. All of a sudden, my headphones stopped.
You putting all kind of extraneous thing in that in your head.
All right.
Did I mention marriage, or are you thinking of marriage?
Not again. When you link that with your comment before,
you never know if you will meet somebody and fall in love again. You may fall in love again.
But I am in love.
I am in love. Spend the rest of your life with in a bonded relationship.
Yeah, but that don't mean I'd marry.
That you
You're
feel to
right.
get
That's
married
true.
and
You don't have
legally
to.
walk down the aisles and do the whole shebang
No,
again
there'll be no walking down
and
or up any
make
aisles.
your fifth child, or is this your sixth
No,
child?
there will not be walking
7,
down
8,
or
9,
up of
10.
any
I think you
aisle
have a
again.
few more shots left in you.
I have lots of shots left. But let me tell you about Braga. Braga, they said.
I hope you're using them wisely and carefully and guardedly. And
listen,
you're not just shooting them off all over the place.
listen to what they say about Braga. The locals tend to be extremely friendly and open-minded, largely due to the great amount of young people who study there. They are welcoming to outsiders and always willing to help. They
Steve, you know we're
said,
going about Braga all morning, right?
and hold on, listen,
Yeah.
crime and
When I hear
safety
Braga, I
issues.
think of Fast and Furious when the
Listen,
caves when they drive in.
it says crime and safety issues are practically non-existent in Braga, even though the city can be compared to a metropolis insofar as what it can offer its inhabitants. This is clearly one of its many advantages. That's where I brought my son, and that's where I'm
You
hoping
you
he agrees to
you leave
stay.
all the Spanish in Trinidad to go look for Spanish in Braga.
Portuguese out here.
Yeah? You leave all the Hispanics in Trinidad to go look for Hispanics in Braga.
Me
Really?
and Trinidad, I'm getting to fear Trinidad. I love Trinidad, but I'm getting to fear Trinidad.
Why would you say such a thing, Wendy?
I just said I love Trinidad, but Trinidad worries me. And I'm sure it
Well,
worries many
Trinidad
people.
it worries me too.
Exactly.
Anyway, you will think of a
I'm
question
not
this
thinking
morning
about myself yet.
while I
I'm thinking about my
peruse the
son, my
papers.
youngest son.
Well, I could understand that. I
Yeah,
have a lot of friends who are parents who worry for their children's future in this country. So I fully
yeah.
agree with you with that is concerned,
My
and
youngest
worry
son.
that this may not be the place for their children to stay and live the rest of their lives. And I'm very serious.
No.
And I don't like saying that
Mm.
before somebody jump on themselves, but it is a fact. It
Well,
is
I'm seeing
20
it.
minutes moving up to 7.
Mhm.
Let's roll into the newspapers. We start with the Daily Express for September 8th. COP was discourteous to the court. A teacher arrested over massage. A primary school teacher was arrested on Wednesday after he allegedly lured a pupil into his bedroom and gave her a massage. He's
What?
47 years old. Now, you ain't see the anyway. It's like the Spanish Football Association president who they eventually fired. You think this thing is all right to hold up a female player and kiss her on, you understand? Without
Yeah,
her acquiescence, and you don't think you should resign
yeah. And
and kiss her on her mouth?
whether you all think you have a relationship or not.
Irrelevant.
Yeah,
Irrelevant. Let's
yeah.
move to the Guardian here now. Port Authority gets interim vessel for Seabridge. I didn't know how to pronounce that. We are expecting one, a boat called the Emprendedora from Venezuela, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. So says Port Chairman Lyle Alexander to fill the void left by the Cabo Star. And they said it's a kind of slow boat. It does 10 knot speed. It would take 10 hours to reach Tobago from Trinidad. 10 hours, you know. Woman detained at heliport begged to be released. Earlier, a no-show court orders cop to return businessman's gun. SDMS national election goes ahead on Sunday. Farmers feed shortage in Tobago, causing chickens to eat at each other. So we will have Martin George just after 7 talking about that situation in Tobago. Parliament resumes on Monday with pomp and parade. And let's move to the Newsday now. Kangaloo makes first address to Parliament on Monday. Nurses want new elevators at Mount Hope Women's Hospital. UNC MSG questions claims of bias against Paria Commission of Inquiry. Princess Town man called out of prayer room and shot. UNC local government reps parents protest over school not being opened. Tuka to honor plumber among others. Kaiso legacy. And gangsters running PH taxis. Cops identify new cash source for criminals. Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Read that over.
So the police have indicated in their press conference yesterday that criminal gangs have entered the transport business and operating fleets of PH cars. So said Superintendent Terence Naubert of the North Central Division of the Police Department at the media briefing yesterday. He said criminals now operate work-to-own vehicles, and they have young people driving it, and these vehicles actually are also lookout for gangs when they are planning the trade and send information to their leaders when they're committing robberies and or murders. The most targeted brands are what's the first one you think?
B13 and Tida.
Aqua.
Tida, Nissan Tida, Nissan AD, Nissan Almera, and Nissan. What's the next one?
Nissan Wing Road.
Wing Road.
Mm-hmm.
Toyota.
Was that Richard I heard ball out Aqua just now?
Aqua, Corolla, Fielder, and Axio. And Honda Civic.
Yeah. The easy to access foreign used cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. 45 minutes after the hour, 6 o'clock. Should we get any headlines of the papers, gentlemen?
I just did that, though.
Oh, you did? Okay, sorry. I went in the boom for a minute. Well, let me give you the results of our poll from yesterday. Yesterday, our poll. We just need to hit that there. Right. Do you agree with the state changing the law to take homeless people off the streets? That was our poll yesterday. And 82%, guess what they said? 82% said yes. 82% said yes. Good morning to, good morning to Brenda Isaac. Winston Jones, Billy Bob is back in from the Bay State. Good morning, Billy Bob. Miss Ingrid is back on. Ronnie Voisin is on. Anthony Tinto out in Canada is on. Miss Ingrid, where is Richard? No clue. Wayne B. Shireen Jack. The great Faria Hyatt Ali. Good morning to you as well. Thank you so much.
Can you send me Martin George's email, please?
Martin. I will indeed.
I want to do a question that's not based in the local realm. It's based on a story we read yesterday about this new pseudo embryo that they created in a lab from stem cells, where it is the decision eventually people will be able to design their own babies. And the question I propose is, if you could, would you opt to choose your baby's gender and other attributes in advance?
Interesting. That basically means you're choosing someone's spouse or something down the road too.
Well, I don't know about that, but
yeah, I went to the extreme end of the gene pool now. Because I didn't hear that article though. I didn't hear you all yesterday. I didn't hear you all much yesterday. I heard you all just briefly, and I didn't see that article anyway. You didn't send that for me, eh?
Oh, I didn't. It was Richard who sent the original article anyway. Right? So that's going to be our question this morning. If you could, would you opt to choose your child's gender and other attributes in advance?
That's a good one.
Yeah. I could write. I told this pen working. Yeah, it's working. All right. So would you choose your child's gender or social attributes, characteristics?
Physical attributes.
Okay. Physical attributes.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's different to characteristics, eh?
Physical attributes.
All right. So we're going with physical. if they have a small toe or a big toe, or if they have a
And you're like, yes. Make my heart rate jump there. I say, where is my going? Where he going, boy?
you said physical, so are those things
Oh, is that what
physical?
you said? Oh, we're not doing with that. Don't do with that. Right, that's your question this
All
morning.
right, good.
Yes or no?
If you
Well,
could,
again, thank you. Hold on. Thank you to Flo. Welcome to the folks good morning to the folks at Flo. We've been trying feverishly. Our lines are still down. 5th day in a row. Thank you, Flo. So we could only take toll-free calls at 866-525-1099. Okay, thank you, Flo. Good morning, Flo. I'm just saying. All right. Wayne B. Oh, I better start from Mike Black says no. Wayne B says no. Billy Bob says me. Hell no.
My color of eyes, height, that sort of stuff. Gender. If you could, would you opt to choose your child? Could that come in, actually, I think they're doing it already in some small way.
I want to believe people are already doing that.
Yeah, they design the children age. Would you choose your child's gender and other physical attributes in advance? Would you? I wonder. Would you, Steve?
No.
Yes, people are already going out there looking for a particular type of person they want to live the rest of their life with. So why not?
Yeah, but this it doesn't matter who you choose to mate with. They could design it genetically. Like your child could be taller, even if because it's just a matter of turning on particular strands in your DNA. The one for height, the one for eye color, the one for toe.
Size of toe.
Size of toe.
Yeah.
Size of hands. Texture of hair.
But size, because there are some people.
Any physical attribute, they could literally tune on because it all comes from your DNA.
All right. We have a call coming through. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. Sandy Grandi. A special good morning to Wendell. I hope he visits the island of Madeira before he returns. My answer is yes.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Gomes. Did he say Madeira?
I saw somebody sent me something on TikTok the other day. I'll do it after this. I don't want to seem like I'm associating it with anybody. It was so disturbing. Yeah. So if you could,
you normally send all your TikToks to me. So
yeah, would you design your baby? That's basically what we're asking.
Yep.
Would you choose the hair, the eyes, the height? They even in some instances say they could design intelligence.
Do you want your baby to look as handsome as me?
Steve, I haven't seen you eat doubles in a while.
Okay. Breaking news for you, Paul. Breaking news, folks. Hold on to your device.
Doubles today.
I do have doubles, but I've cut down the amount of doubles I eat.
So would you? I think I would try it with one.
With one?
And see how the other person,
Well, maybe I don't know. If I had a chance to do that again, I would. I don't know that. Maybe if the opportunity comes up and it's safe, I might just try it. You never know.
You didn't do badly leaving it to God?
No, I did pretty good, as a matter of fact.
I think so.
Leaving it to God, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And you've been able to mix your gene pool on more than one occasion.
Yeah. I have 2 different baby mama, as they say.
No, you don't have no. You have mothers of your children. You don't have baby mamas. Okay?
I'm going with the
I
TikTok version.
find that quite an offensive term.
I'm going with the TikTok version.
Baby mama and baby daddy are offensive terms. Sorry, I just know.
I'm going with the young people talk to.
I will not be advancing that sort of nomenclature.
Oh Lord.
Yes, so that's what we're asking this morning. Come on, we want to hear from you. It's an ever-changing world.
Oh, you know what? I have not been looking at the comments. Let me go to that. That's where you get all the answers. Brenda,
Mike said yes. Mike said, Paul, will you? Yes, I will.
All right. Let me try to get some answers from YouTube comments. Mike Black says no. I think we got that. Wayne B says no. Billy Bob says no. Tinto says no. Tinto, I think today's your son's birthday, or did I miss it? Rena Jennings says no, not at all.
Choose right.
Carol Guevara, whose birthday is tomorrow.
Just go and fix your teeth and do implants and straighten your hair and color your hair and all of that.
Yeah. The Great says they are already doing it via the sperm bank, and he says
no. but that is less precise.
Yeah,
that is not precise.
We're talking about precision here. You could tell them I want aquamarine green eyes and wavy hair with this texture and this complexion and this height and all that drama. I mean, very specifically.
Yeah.
Oliver Warren said, no, that is God's work, not mine. Tell them scientists and them that.
And Slick Money Grip says no.
I would like to know the origin of that name, That name always, intrigues me. Slick Money Grip. When I hear the term money grip, I think of...
It conjures up image of that toe video. I don't know why. In me.
Okay. Paul, ask Paul to read a little of the article about children physical attributes. I'm not following in depth of the question.
Well, I do have the article. I kind of delete it off my phone. I clear my phone every day. But it basically spoke to stem cells being used to create an embryo, which actually triggered off a positive pregnancy test. An embryo-like entity, let me see, which actually triggered off a positive pregnancy test. So they were very happy, and in a womb-like environment. So it wasn't normal at all. So in other words, they used stem cells to create an embryo. So if they're doing that, it begs the question: how far will this reach in 2 years? And they're already growing body parts from pig stem cells, and to replace body parts and stuff like that. So kind of Stick Money Group tells us one day I'll call and give you the answer.
You can text it too. Gregory Boyer says no to the poll.
Once it working, Lennon Roberts said no to the poll. Stick Money Group, once it working for you.
What's that? No. To Alua Olufemi says no.
No. Science for the vanity seekers. Soulless breed. They said bread, but I think it's breed you meant.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that too. But Anthony Tinto says my daughter-in-law.
Yeah, I think it's his daughter-in-law's birthday. If not today.
Happy birthday. Yeah, that science is going to destroy the world. Humans don't know where to stop.
Especially with AI, and you put all that in consideration. It's
humans don't know where to stop. They don't know where to draw the line. They just do it because they want to do it.
Because they have gotten the God-given talent to do it too, because of God-given talent.
Well, it's intellect, and they're always trying something in the name of medicine and science, kind of thing. So they say it's scientific inquiry, and it may be used to save lives in the future. If we could grow an embryo from stem cells, it means we could grow a body part.
Yeah.
You could grow a whole embryo, and that germinates into a a fetus
Yeah.
with parts. Logical thinking means that you could eventually grow a whole body part that you might need, and may not have to have transplant, depending on people to die to do transplant.
Yeah.
So
Wendell's an extension.
Well,
You know.
well, if you extend the conversation from some people, that is about eternal life and Richard's assertion that we're going to conquer death and things like that, then you have to assume you have to go along the road that God has given us this ability. He has provided us with these abilities, and how we use it, I guess, at the end of the day, will be to His honor and glory.
There is a hard line
Mhm.
between conquering death and believers.
True.
Okay? A hard, immutable line. Because if you're a believer, you believe that only God can create and end life.
Yes.
So
Yes.
wherever you're doing it, you're creating a zombie, you ain't creating life.
Sexy San Fernando
You're creating
says,
animation, not necessarily life. So I know that science should be going where God is supposed to be, because if you then could extend life indefinitely, it means you're eternal, or you know.
But who would have given you that ability?
But the ability is not infinite. He didn't give us the ability so we could create God next then.
Some people go down that road and
The
Paul.
logical extension to the conversation, as you say, is to go down that road. So if you say God gave us the intellect to create life, it means God gave us the intellect to create God.
Yeah. And to create everlasting life.
So then after that you don't need God, then use God now.
Sexy San Fernando says they can do all of that, but they can't find a cure for cancer. You know?
I swear, cancer, certain lifestyle diseases are the creatures of pharmaceutical companies.
Are they making money? Leonard Robert says no. Oh, you did that already, Wendell. Wayne B says, Wayne B. Here we go, Wayne B. Happy birthday to my granddaughter. Today is her 6th birthday. It's a happy birthday to you. You didn't say that.
Happy birthday, granddaughter. To
Mathura says no.
Mathura YC? Where's that?
Yeah, I don't.
No, but maybe you can alleviate health issues. Well, they're already doing that, eh? But as I said, some of these lifestyle diseases, you gather, this is my opinion, people, that they are creatures of pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah, so they could make money. They don't cure. If you cure, they make no more money out of that person, you know.
Exactly.
They manage the disease so you could keep coming back.
Yep. And they keep switching the drugs that you're on.
Well, they will say because the drug, they're improving the drugs, so. You understand?
You know what I just realized? I just realized every single answer to no, I was putting it under the column yes.
Why am I not surprised?
What did I do? I've messed this poll up, people.
Well, you haven't. No, if you did it consistently, you just have to switch the title on whether it's yes or no.
No, but a few people did say yes.
Because if you were doing it inadvertently and doing it randomly, then you've messed up the poll.
I think I know where to cut off. I think I know where to switch the no.
Yes, Mr. I wouldn't say Mr. EBC, but I'll be very infrinting of me. That'd be very infrinting of me to say that. So yes, Mr. Voter Pada. Yes, Mr. Voter Pada. Clearly, we can't put you to account no polling division.
Yeah, I think I have it correct though.
Now, if you sort of we catch us that poll now, you already admitted to tarnishing the poll.
No, but the majority of people have said no, eh? But I have 4 people all said yes though.
Is there a particular time the news is going today?
Steve, who are you talking to? Shireen Jack says, happy Earth Strong.
You would not want to know.
All right. Happy Earth Strong, so who granddaughter?
I don't know, man. Should we go 10
Baby.
pass? Let's try 15 pass.
All right. You guys finished? Chat. Let's get into our 7 o'clock news.
You would swear as we step in the news, I'm going there, Wendell.
No, we were discussing news items here. All right. Yeah. Let's get into our 7 o'clock.
5 more minutes and do the news at 7 or 8. Why?
Oh, okay. Hold on. You said we could take 5 more minutes again.
Why 4 6 ago now? It's done after 7 already anyway. So
it's 12:03. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. We ready now? Let's get in. If you're ready, you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Parliament opens on Monday. The Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago says that a cargo vessel has been sourced to service the local sea bridge until repairs to the Cabo Star are complete. Police warn that criminal gangs have entered the transport business by operating fleets of PH cars, and Hong Kong and southern China battle widespread flooding from record rains. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintel Bob. Good morning. The Port Authority of Trinidad, or rather the fourth session of Parliament, opens on Monday at 1:30 p.m. at the Red House, Abercrombie Street, Port of Spain. President, Her Excellency Christine Kangaloo will address the members of the Senate and the House of Representatives assembled together. Her Excellency will also inspect a guard of honor assembled outside of Parliament. The Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago has revealed that a cargo vessel has been sourced to service the local sea bridge until repairs to the Cabo Star are complete. Speaking at a news briefing on Thursday, Port Authority Chairman Lyle Alexander said the vessel should arrive by Saturday and he hopes to have it in service sometime next week. In the meantime, trucks transporting cargo to Tobago will be accommodated on the passenger ferries. Mr. Alexander asked truckers to be mindful of the 7,000 kilograms weight restriction for vehicles on the ferries. A cargo vessel from Venezuela called the Emprendedora is now en route to Trinidad and Tobago to temporarily service the sea bridge until the repair works to the Cabo Star are finished. 2 weeks after a fire on board the Cabo Star vessel occurred, leading to transportation woes for truckers transporting cargo on the sea bridge, the Port Authority of TNT has found some relief. The Emprendedora should arrive at the Port of Spain ferry terminal tomorrow and should be immediately ready for service, according to the Port Authority chairman. The void left by the Cabo Star on the sea bridge had led to a shortage of certain foodstuff and construction materials in Tobago. Chairman Alexander revealed that the owners of the Cabo Star Bridgeman's Service Group had agreed to supply the relief vessel and are taking care of all costs of repairs to the damaged Cabo Star. He admitted, however, that the Emprendedora is a small landing vessel capable of carrying over 1/10 of the cargo the Cabo Star can accommodate. Additionally, it does 10 knots in speed, which means it will take an average of 10 hours between Trinidad and Tobago. Criminal gangs have entered the transport business by operating fleets of PH cars, warned Superintendent Terence Norbert of the North Central Division of the police at a media briefing on Thursday at the police headquarters in Port of Spain. Superintendent Norbert said criminals operate work-to-own vehicles. He said they are giving vehicles to persons, especially young people, to work and they pay for it. He said such drivers work as lookouts for the gangs. He explained while they are working on the road, they are feeding the gang with information. For instance, the location of police and other information the gang may need to carry out their illegal activities. Norbert said gangs also stole motor vehicles, often to commit robberies or murders. The most targeted brands were firstly Nissan, including Tidas, Almeras, AD wagons, and Wingroads, Toyotas, including Aquas, Corollas, Fielders, and Axios, and Hondas, including Civics. Meanwhile, the police service is reporting that they've made positive inroads in the train line Warner Road St. Augustine community. It says their intervention has resulted in the dismantling of gangs, developing a partnership with the community by engagement with citizens, and working with groups and the corporate arena. This has resulted in reducing gang activities, violence, and homicides. Acting Senior Superintendent in charge of the North Central Division, Brian Ramphal, speaking at the news briefing, said that the Hand in Hand initiative, as well as Project Grace, are measures which have had a positive influence on the community.
At the beginning of the year, we had a significant increase in homicides in that area. We would have infiltrated that area, totally dismantled a particular gang, which led to the prosecution of 6 persons under the Anti-Gang Act. They are currently before the court. Coming out of that initiative, we developed a program called Hand in Hand, where we continuously work with that community in trying to make it a better place, engaging the citizens, trying to assist in some of the social problems that they experience, constant engagement with other stakeholders, social services, local government, and other corporate bodies that lend support in making it a reality.
You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. Further afield, Hong Kong and southern Chinese cities are battling widespread flooding as the region enjoys some of its heaviest rainfall on record. On Friday, streets and subway stations were underwater in Hong Kong as officials shut schools and workplaces. The Weather Bureau said the downpour, which began on Thursday, is the biggest to hit the city in nearly 140 years. Emergency services said more than 100 people had been taken to hospital and several rescues had taken place. Pictures from the city on Thursday night show the torrential rain turning streets into raging rivers, flooding shopping centers and public transport. Videos on social media showed people climbing onto cars and other elevated platforms to escape the waters, which have risen several meters high in some areas, blocking off subway entrances. Well, finally, let's find out what the weather is going to be like here in Trinidad and Tobago. For the period today till midnight, look out for mostly hot and sunny conditions with a chance of isolated afternoon showers, especially over hilly areas. Tonight will be generally fair. Look out for a forecast maximum temperature of another 34 degrees Celsius high at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it is 27 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, Parliament opens on Monday. The Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago says a cargo vessel has been sourced to service the local sea bridge until repairs to the Cabo Star are complete. Police warn that criminal gangs have entered the transport business by operating fleets of PH cars, and Hong Kong and southern China battle widespread flooding from record rains. I'm Afril Sintilbab. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for news in detail coming up at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
All right. Thank you so much, Avril Hill Lynch. Thank you so much for our major news. Join her again at 8 o'clock for our news brief. All right, let's see what's happening on the roads of TNT. Let me just do a fresh on this and see what's happening. We are going to be joined shortly by Mr. Martin George. I am not going to give you a traffic update in the East-West Corridor. I'm not going to give you a traffic out of Diego Martin or Maraval or Lady Young Road or Valencia Stretch or Kelly Village. I'm not going to give you that traffic update. San Fernando is lighter than usual, though. Just by Gasparilla, you've got some traffic there as you exit and come on and Bonaventure Road. That's a bit heavy this morning. On the Solo, you're going to pick up your traffic from Charlieville. The Monroe Road is also a bit heavy this morning. You got traffic again. Let me tell you, this traffic is from Ibis Gardens and Caroni to the Priority Bus Route. That's your traffic. Curepe Southern Main Road. Heavy as you head southbound as well. Oh my. I'm glad we come to work the time that we do. It's taking 2 hours to and fro. I don't know how you all do it. I really don't. And for some parents, you take 2 hours to get home after work, after a hard day of work. You take the traffic for 2 hours. I'm just saying. Then you have to come home and see about the kids and do your own chores and do your own stuff. And then what time you go to bed? And then what time you get up? See about the kids again, get them ready for school. And we know that can take a frenzy, especially when they're very sleepy in the morning and cranky. Put them in the car and take our next set of hours to go to work. How you do that?
I just got a report from somebody that the murder rate is at 403.
I wouldn't doubt that. That's 3 murders yesterday that we know of. 2 execution style in Kelly Village, and that horrific one in Laventille on Eastern Main Road. That's just three that we know of. I wonder if there are murders that take place that we don't know about. Not registered.
I'm sure.
Well, they're missing people who may have been murdered.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna go there. We always
We
see
have no way of putting them down as a murder because they're just missing.
Yeah. And you know what boggles my mind is that we all have this thing called a phone in our hands, in our back pockets, in our purse. But we get no alerts when there's a kid missing or someone's missing.
I wouldn't say that is accurate because I get alerts on my phone that people are missing.
No, we get messages from other people that forwarded. But when I'm saying like a yellow alert, your phone beep, 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 beep. You look, missing person. If you see this person, call so and so. Not messages. I don't get that.
You're talking about a TTPS alert or something, sir?
A TTPS alert that comes through the service providers. You know, not a WhatsApp message that just forwarded. You know?
Yeah, sometimes you wonder what they go to these conferences for.
And I said the same thing. We spend taxpayers' money to send people abroad to learn and to see what other agencies are doing. And then what? You know, you could be in traffic and you get the alert and you just want to look to your right and you realize, hey, that looked like him. That looked like him.
Anyway, our poll this morning.
Yeah, Chris Toussaint says no.
Went a bit off politics to give you a little breeze off your head this morning. From the contentious political environment, which is about to return full steam today and Monday.
Where's Martin?
You know it's about to return. I don't know that it ever stopped. I'm now reading an article here with Dr. Sue Jambachan. Like he going back to the mainstream politics of the UNC, heaping praise on Kamala Prasad Bisesa and conducting training sessions again. You see politics and politicians and their hypocrisy. I can't take it now. I have almost zero tolerance level for it now.
Would you care to read the results of your tarnished poll?
No, I fixed it. It says
if you could. You don't know where no start and where yes.
No, I know. Because you know why? At the beginning, only 4 people said no. And 4 people had said yes. And then I started writing the no's under the yes column. So I know where it stopped. So it is 4.
You see where you're getting problems?
So it is 4 people alone said yes. And 14 people said no. So our question, if you could, would you opt to choose your child's gender and other physical attributes in advance? You shouldn't have a D at the end of advance there. So our answer, yes. 4 people said yes, and 14 said no. All right? 4 said yes. I'm just correcting you grammatically, sir. Advance should be without the D. All right? So that's our answer. Of course, Beauty Culture also said no, so let's make that 15. And Lester Cragwell also said no, so let's make that 16. Right? So 16 people said no, they will not opt to choose, and 4 said yes, they will opt to choose.
I think the international observers kind of corrected your poll for you because you seem to have gone back in alignment with what I'm seeing here. Thank God for international observers.
Somebody message you?
Martin George is kind of organizing himself, so we give him a couple.
But look, I just got a message from someone that is out of Trinidad, and they get a message, and I'm just going to give you the basic thing. They get a message, and it starts off with missing juvenile. The so-and-so sheriff's office is currently looking for a missing and endangered 12-year-old male by the name of so-and-so. He is 5 feet inches tall and 120 pounds. He was last seen wearing blah, 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 possibly on a bicycle. He has black hair, brown eyes, and a scar on his right lower leg. He went missing on so-and-so date from so-and-so area, last known location, and last known was last seen, and so-and-so. If you please contact so-and-so, and they give a telephone number or they say dial 911. Why can't we do that here?
And in New York and London in particular that I know about, especially when a child goes missing, an immediate red alert goes out from police.
Yes. It's not like they don't have the technology, you know.
Well,
if they don't get it,
what can I say? And these things is not even high-tech or innovative at this point. They've been done for so many years in so many jurisdictions. It's not even like...
over a decade, over 2 decades maybe. You're not reinventing the wheel. You know. I don't know.
You know, I'm reading the story. Paul, when in the headlines you read about the teacher, a standard 5 teacher attached to a primary school in Chaguanas, was charged with 1 count of sexual touching of a child. It says the offense was allegedly committed against an 11-year-old victim after she attended lessons at his home on a date unknown during the period April 30th to July 1st. That's right. So that's before school holidays. The man allegedly lured the child into his bedroom, removed her clothing, and massaged her. The incident was reported to the police last month. How is that he is only on 1 charge?
How old the child was?
11.
Good morning, Martin George.
Yeah, hi. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Wendell. Good morning, Steve. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Morning. How you going? How is Tobago? I need to come.
Yes, man. Bring your own food, according to...
I'm bringing my own food and I'm crashing my you.
Martin.
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah.
You don't want us to see the double palm sign behind you, what?
Why is he hiding and true?
No. I could put it on. It's just that okay.
It's
radio.
It's not radio. It's a video stream. It's not radio.
We're live on YouTube, Martin.
Yeah.
Martin, it is radio. Martin is radio you can watch.
You understand?
Okay.
When you think ugly people like Wendell and Paul can get a job on radio to put a camera in the studio.
They get some nice rooms in Double Palm now, boy. Look at that.
Yeah, lots of pictures.
They get the executive suite.
The presidential suite, Paul. Get to the program.
Clearly, that is the presidential suite. Anyway, good morning. So, thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
as
thanks.
President of the Tobago Business Association, we've heard these statements about looming or active food shortages in Tobago. I saw release from Faith Be Israel that those are inaccurate. What say you from the business community perspective? Good morning, Richard, by the way.
Good morning.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, all of you, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. You know, the thing is, what I found interesting is that, first of all, I saw 2 rather corpulent-looking gentlemen coming forth and speaking about a food shortage. I mean, I think for starters, certainly if there was a food shortage, it doesn't seem to be affecting them at all. Let's start with that. But separate and apart from that, there's the issue of the fact and figures, Paul, because, I always ask the hard questions and I say, okay, if there is this great food crisis, then let's see the hard facts, the figures. Let us see where, business persons can produce their stock books, their stock records, their warehouse records, and show, well, look, I ordered 10 bales of sugar and I got one or I got none, or, this is my inventory record to show that my supply. You only hear the histrionics and, the cries that, like Chicken Little, the sky is falling. But yet still nobody produces any hard data to support these claims. And I'll tell you why I ask these questions. The point is, we always have to be brave enough to ask the difficult and uncomfortable questions in circumstances such as this. Because you look at this scenario, most of the food supply that comes to Tobago from Trinidad or elsewhere would come up on the smaller trucks, which would be the 1 ton and 1.5 ton trucks. These trucks have always been facilitated on the fast ferry vessels. So therefore, the lack of the cargo star could not in any way be affecting these things. Even if you're talking about bags of sugar, bags of flour, a normal 1 ton, 1.5 ton truck could bring those, even a 3 ton truck, which is sometimes facilitated on the fast ferry. So therefore, where is all of this drama coming from? And, I saw the release, exactly what you mentioned there from Faith Be Israel. And, she herself has raised some questions, some of which I have posited also, because I said, listen, isn't Tobago concerned about the bigger issue, the bigger question of its inability to feed itself? You keep talking about you want autonomy, you want independence, you want this. One cargo vessel is down for a week or two, and you are in a food crisis. What does that say about your production of food? If you recall, years ago, Tobago used to be the food basket. Tobago used to be producing enough food to export up the Caribbean, to supply Trinidad. Nothing is being planted, nothing is being grown. Aren't these the bigger questions that Tobagonians should be concerning themselves about, more than, worrying about what might be an artificially generated crisis? So, I have always been one who, regardless of what the masses are saying or what the general opinion is, I've always been one to stand up and question things and say, hey, is there another way of looking at this? Is there another way of analyzing this, assessing this? And that is why I have asked these questions in that way. So I think that definitely, unless and until I can see some hard empirical evidence to say that there really is a food shortage or a food crisis, I am not yet convinced that there is.
Mm. Is this a more of a business / profitability cry from some members of the business community, as opposed to an actual food shortage? In other words, a stock and inventory issue that they're projecting ahead on, that they want to stave off if they think it may affect their profitability?
Well, it might be. I don't want to speculate, but my point is, if you're telling me that, look, you cannot get the large flatbeds and the big trailers, which would bring up things like I-beams, long lengths of steel, precast concrete products, the huge bags of sand, or the massive pallets of cement, then if you tell me those things for the construction industry, for hardwares and stuff like that, then I could understand that, because those things could only come on the cargo vessel, right? But when you start, ratcheting up this conversation about, a food shortage, I think, I don't know, unless we really have the evidence to prove that, I think that we have to be careful of, not crying wolf in the circumstances.
And I thought it strange, to be very honest, as I told my colleague in the newsroom the day before yesterday when I heard it, that if there were a food shortage in Tobago or a looming food shortage, given what we've come to expect of Mr. Augustine, the chief secretary, he would have been shouting from the top of the mountain
Front and center, he would have been, and he would have probably parlayed it to say that it's a plot by Trinidad to starve Tobagonians to death and, et cetera, because, the platform rhetoric, they sometimes get carried away with. But you're quite right, Paul. And instead, Faith B. Israel, who is, I think, deputy leader in the party, the newly formed party, or certainly one of the higher ups, and she's the secretary for health. She has basically rubbished the claim about a food shortage, and my question also is, why aren't we looking at these bigger picture issues? I've also raised the issue in my capacity as chairman of the Tobago Business Chamber as to why Port Authority has not provided a second cargo vessel for this run, in the sense that, okay, as part of proper planning and management of any entity or any enterprise, one would think that you always cater for a backup because you know that things can happen. So therefore, it seems incumbent upon them that they ought to consider getting a second vessel. So therefore, even when things like this happen, you have a vessel that can come into service or maybe even share the workload so that one vessel doesn't get overburdened and you have to then put it on dry dock for months because it has so much work to do, that kind of thing. That just seems to me part of proper responsible planning. So those are two issues that I would say we need to highlight in the circumstances rather than, talking about maybe what might be a contrived food crisis.
The recent comment about the issue related to the air bridge also is something that we haven't spoken to you since it happened. The CAL pilots and the ancillary issues related to that, because yes, it affected international passengers, but it also affected the local air bridge significantly. And
yes,
and it's not the first time. And there have been several remedies proffered. I know before the assembly would have subsidized the Virgin, that had to stop because it was deemed unsustainable. What do you think? Where do you think the solution lies?
Well, the thing is, I think we have to first understand and approach the air bridge as a necessary and fundamental part of the transportation system in Trinidad and Tobago, in the sense that, the connectivity between the islands is not a favor. It is not something that you can, as the CEO of CAL so glibly and, in a puerile fashion tries to say, well, it's not a profitable route. It has nothing to do with profitability. It's almost as absurd as trying to say, well, let's look at Port of Spain General Hospital. For all these years, it hasn't made a profit, so let's close it down. It's an essential service. You are dealing with a scenario where there are so many situations where persons have, for business reasons, for medical emergencies, for whatever, they need to have that fast access of transport between Trinidad and Tobago. So we need to first of all have that mindset in relation to the air bridge. Secondly, there are many ways that you can actually make it more profitable than it is, even though you may never achieve a level of overall profitability. But there are ways that you can increase your efficiencies on the service, right? And they do not explore that. We have suggested as a business chamber that you introduce a 2-tiered or a 3-tiered fare system. So in other words, all right, the current basic fare is $400 for a round trip. Then what we have suggested is you introduce a $500 fare, a $600 fare, So therefore, if it is that someone comes and they says, well, look, I don't have a booking, but I need to get to Tobago. They say, all right, you see, you will pay the $600 price if you really want to go. And you would find that most people who really have a genuine emergency, they will have no problem paying that. So therefore, you are getting, look how easily you're getting $200 extra from one person. If you have, say, for instance, 500 persons for the day paying that, do the math, if you understand me. And it's a simple thing. So in other words, you are allowing persons who have genuine emergencies or who need to travel immediately the option to say, well, look, hey, pay the higher fare and you will go immediately.
Wasn't that the thinking though, Martin, behind the $50 change fee?
Not at all. The $50 change fee is a punitive penalty that has been imposed, and it's the most absurd thing. I mean, listen to how palpably absurd and patently stupid it is. I have personally experienced this, and I can tell you as a fact, all right? In a scenario where I had a Tobago, Port of Spain, Tobago round trip booked on CAL, all right? I had another ticket purchased because I moved up my travel date and I came to Trinidad earlier, right? Using CAL, okay? Right. When I went to the airport in Piaco to use the return leg of the other ticket to come back, they said, no, I cannot use that. I have to pay a fee to reverse the order of the ticket. Now, imagine the nonsense we're talking here. So I said, well, what are you talking about? They said, well, we don't have any evidence as to how you got to Trinidad because you didn't use the first leg of this. I said, what the hell does it matter? I am here.
Exactly. Yes.
Even if I took the boat and came down, what does it matter to you?
Even if they beam me across.
or even if I did that and swam to Trinidad.
Yeah.
But they are saying you have to pay now a reversal fee to reverse the order of the ticket and then a date change fee. That's
I think one of the fundamental flaws in this thinking in this scenario with the air bridge is that CAL amalgamates the Tobago Trinidad air bridge route with the regional and international operations. And I'll tell you why. It goes back to the premise you referenced earlier on. This is not a profit. This is Trinidad and Tobago. And the state has a responsibility.
Yes.
To have a link, an effective link between Trinidad and Tobago, in this case, sea and air. Right? It is not a profit driven. That can't be that's a social and national issue, right?
That's right.
So CAL in its budgeting should be putting aside a subvention, well, the state, let me see the Ministry of Finance, a subvention that covers that cost. And if the airline can generate the money to match that, fine. If not, it kicks in. Because that is an essential service. And to amalgamate and say, well, the whole airline is not making profit, and you lump that in, to me is really stupid.
Because Paul, I couldn't agree with you more.
It is not the same thing as the regional international legs of the operations.
But not just that, the point is they have engaged in flights of fancy and all sorts of frolics whereby they are frittering away millions and billions in other regional and international ventures. Remember, they were thinking of, I think at one point, some flight from Brazil, right? Then we see them expanding now. You have flights going to St. Kitts. You have flights going to Cuba. Right? So the question
I can stand corrected by that. My understanding, and I cannot substantiate it, but I'll suggest it anyway, is that they have they bought new craft and plan to explore linkages to South America. Now, this is not the first iteration of CAL trying to maximize new routes for profits, but it always seems like it ends up in a folly after a while because it falls flat. The airline starts to go from profitable to sinking, and then everything turns Olmas.
Of course. And then let's not forget that they purchased Air Jamaica. Remember? So in other words, you are a drowning, sinking airline, but yet still you go in and buy another drowning, sinking airline.
That was a different thing.
No, but we cannot afford to.
I agree.
thing, business on the basis of friendship. If you're talking about the national coffers, so I mean that's so absurd because Air Jamaica losing millions and billions, you losing millions and billions, but yet still you going and buy out another drowning airline. Look at Sir Richard Branson. I mean, one of the world's greatest entrepreneurs. Look at the trouble he has had trying to keep Virgin afloat. The airlines. Airlines are risky. They are risky ventures. So therefore, if you are already losing money, how on earth could you ever see it making sense that you go in and buy another losing airline? That's like two drunk men, one trying to lead the other one home. They will never get there.
And then the cultural differences that came out where Jamaicans felt offended. Some Jamaicans felt offended and they stopped flying the craft.
And not just that, remember also, we had scenarios where Jamaican Airlines had previously incurred so many penalties at international airports because of so many drug busts that occurred on their craft. And you go in and inherit that? I mean, I don't know. How on earth could you then tell anybody that, oh, well, you can't put on more flights on the Tobago run because the Tobago run is not profitable after you've been, wasting money in the hundreds of millions on foolish ventures like that. So these are the concerns I have, and I fully agree with you, Paul, that they have to change their thinking and understand that this is an essential service you are offering. And I mean, just a simple suggestion I have given there in terms of the three-tiered fare, I think that alone can help to bring in more revenue if they are serious.
Well, if we could switch now, I see the political scenario in Tobago is also still very interesting and fertile. Where Mr. Duke, after getting the resounding beating in Trinidad local government election, has said he's scaling back and he's now extended, the olive branch to Mr. Augustine. He said he's tried to contact Mr. Augustine several times and Mr. Augustine has not answered him. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, the thing is, it is clear that after receiving a beating like a Good Friday Boboli in Trinidad, Watson Duke is clearly desperately seeking relevance. Remember the movie some years ago, Desperately Seeking Susan? Well, he's desperately seeking Farley. Because at the end of the day, the scenario now is that he needs Farley, but Farley does not need him. It's plain and simple as that. Mr. Duke has engaged in these forays into, all sorts of follies, such as saying he wants to be the mayor of Port of Spain. Does he even have a clue as to how the mayor of Port of Spain is chosen? You have to win the Port of Spain corporation. That means all the aldermen will then have to decide who is going to be the mayor. You don't even have a toehold there, but yet still you are going to come publicly and talk rubbish.
I like that phrase, toehold. Oh my God. It's an unfortunate phrase to use in this circumstance. Can you get to rephrase that, Councillor?
Martin, it came out innocent. It came out innocent, Martin.
Mr. Duke.
I don't think you should be using toehold when we're talking about Watson Duke. I ain't good at all. But I don't think the toe was held on to very well at all in any case. But I digress.
Oh my God, fellas, you're all gonna kill me. Oh my God, yes, good point. But the thing is, and so Tobagoans are asking questions as to, well, hey, wait, just now, it's only because you got licks down there, you're now coming back, talking to us, saying that, oh, well, you're ready to extend the olive branch. I mean, the point is, I don't think anybody is going to be fooled or, convinced by this last-ditch attempt at reconciliation or rapprochement because, basically you have a scenario where two Manuat can't live in one hole. And if you already got rid of one of the Manuat...
go with these euphemisms that are inappropriate again.
Oh my God! I think it's only because it wasn't
Duke and Farley. It is highly inappropriate. I am defending liability issues related to this platform.
Oh my God!
It's still politically over.
Yes, and we said that
I
already.
asked you, Wendell. Ask Martin George.
But we established that long time.
Well, the thing is, I mean, he's a street fighter. Let's not forget that. He's a street fighter. He could get down and dirty at a moment's notice. All right. And I mean, he does have, his base in Roxborough. So I would imagine that he can probably still carry that seat in the THA election. So I wouldn't say that his days are over, but certainly he needs a bush bath. He needs to bathe with some blue soap and, whatever other local remedies they have
In a bathtub.
to cleanse. Yes, seriously, because I don't think in his present iteration he has much relevance outside of his little area of Roxborough.
I think the question should be asked, one of the questions should be asked, where is he getting the financing from to spend all this money on all these elections?
Wendell,
offering serious money in Port of Spain.
Wendell, UNC, where he getting the money from?
No, I'm lost. Where's he getting the money from, Martin George? You just said that you deal with empiricism and hard facts. Where's he getting the money from?
UNC, Paul. UNC, Paul.
I have nothing else to say.
The subtlety of it.
I have nothing else to say.
No, but it's
I asked that innocent question.
You did.
All right, so let's get back into seriousness now. So all right, we are going into a new parliamentary session. I doubt that the autonomy issue is going to come up in this parliamentary session again, unfortunately.
Is that a husky, Martin?
It's a Samoyed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, a Russian dog.
Nice.
What do you expect as a citizen of Tobago, well, Trinidad and Tobago, but as a resident of Tobago, in the last quarter of this year, moving into 2024?
In terms of the issue of autonomy?
Not autonomy generally, but I mean, the political scene has been so tumultuous. Tobagonians, to me, have been beat up because they asked for a change. They demanded a change by their vote. The change has been tumultuous at best. There's so much has happened in the last 9 months in Trinidad and Tobago, and in particular Tobago. And now, whatever the machinations are, people want better lives. People want stability.
Yes. Well, interestingly enough, and Paul, it appears that for whatever reason, it appears that Tobagonians seem in some way to be allowing the TPP and Mr. Farley Augustine and his team to have a chance to prove themselves. I think they recognize that, look, yes, they've made mistakes and they are a neophyte bunch who appear not to always at times have the best advice or the best advisors around them. But it seems that Tobagonians at this point generally are still willing to allow them the opportunity to, get it right. So, I mean, I think Mr. Augustine has a really wonderful opportunity because he's getting a blight from Tobagonians generally to say, well, hey, listen, boy, we're giving you a chance, settle yourself, get this right. But I mean, the point is he needs to get it right because you have the PNM waiting in the wings. They are not going to roll over and die because they recognize the importance of Tobago, particularly in the national context with the 2 Tobago seats. You see, so really and truly, the general election of 2025 is going to be largely pivotal on those 2 Tobago seats because when you look at the current numbers, you have 23-18. You take 2 from 23, you're down to 21. You add 2 to 18, you're up to 20. If you understand me. So therefore, basically, you're talking about 1 seat there could swing the balance of power. So therefore, those 2 Tobago seats are critical in terms of the context of the general election. And I mean, we imagine that the PNM is fully aware of that, because I don't think there's any party that is as good as preparing themselves or fighting elections as the PNM. They have the years of experience, and they have the gravitas and the know-how and the political machinery, a well-oiled political machinery. So they know very well that those 2 Tobago seats are going to be critical. Mr. Duke also knows that. Mr. Augustine also knows that, because you heard Mr. Augustine talking already about winning those 2 seats and then looking to leverage that. Mr. Duke has said the same thing. So everybody's eyeing those 2 Tobago seats. And as I said, so also will be the PNM.
That's true. But the current iteration is 2219, though. So it's
2219.
It's a lot closer than you think. Yeah.
Which makes it worse. That's right. Yes, you're correct. Which makes it worse. Yes. Yes.
You're correct. The 2 Tobago
but yes, Tobago can be the king or queen maker. Tobago can be the king or queen maker very easily,
Yes, that's right. Let's not forget St. Vincent, where with 1 seat, James' son Mitchell became prime minister, because their total was 15, and you had 7-7, and he had 1 seat, and with his one was greater than 7.
How do you assess the outcome of the LG in terms of performance of both parties?
Well, when one looks at it, I mean, while with the corporations being split evenly 7-7, one may be tempted to say there was no clear winner. I would say that there was a clear loser, in the sense that the PNM being incumbent, so to speak, in central government, and with the erosion into some of the areas where they held, power, the loss of 1 or 2 seats of councillors, I would say that if you were to declare a loser as opposed to declaring a winner, I would say that the PNM lost. You also looked at the body language and you heard the words from the Prime Minister. Those were not the words of a winner when he says it could have been worse. That is not what you say when you win. Nobody wins something and then says, well, it could have been worse. No. So I think clearly they recognize that they've lost
the implication is he was expecting worse.
Yes, I think the polls
were showing
that's
my point. That's my point. That's my point. So therefore, you look at it and you recognize that, look, it's not a scenario where they can, go back to Balize House, rejoicing and singing Kumbaya and saying, well, yes, we scored a resounding victory. On the other hand, you also had this scenario where the UNC has not been able to make any significant inroads in areas outside of their traditional strongholds. And that has always been the problem of the UNC. And I'll tell you why.
Just to interject in that, the UNC ceded several of those districts, divisions to the NTA. Was that strategically profitable, or did the NTA have a positive impact on them?
Paul, that's the point I'm coming to. The UNC has always appeared, and this is just my simple view, they have always appeared afraid to make any serious foray into their non-traditional areas. They love staying in their comfort zones. So they will go to their traditional areas and preach to the converted. They will preach to the choir, and they love the adulation and the praise and the shouting and clapping and that they get from their own hardcore supporters, instead of saying, well, hey, listen, we already have those in the bag. Let us really make a concerted effort and a concerted push to expand beyond our traditional areas. Instead, what they like to do is stay in the background and finance others and say, all right, you go and you fight there, you fight there, you fight there. That's what they like doing. And at the end of the day, you have to show that courage and that willingness to really transform yourself out of your traditional areas into a national party by saying, hey, listen, all right, we're setting up a permanent, center in Laventille where we will be doing work, we will be focusing on the BSAM, regardless, win, lose, or draw, we are here to stay. They need to show that sustainability. Instead, what they love doing is coming around election time, handing out a mattress, a stove, a $300 wrap up in a jersey, etc. And they think that people will be fooled by that. And we have seen in the past that the people take the money, they take the stove, they take the mattress, and then they go and they vote for whoever they want.
You could not have said it better. And you know why too? They always say some ridiculous, disgusting, divisive statement, which is why they avoid those areas. They avoid those areas because of that. Because their true colors will eventually show themselves. That's what they do.
In terms of campaign, do you think because there are two markedly different campaigns. One was pretty cerebral to me, and in reform with the PNM, focusing on the local government reform. And one was, where's the word? I don't want to use the word exploiting, but focused on national security and citizen security in terms of UNC security, cocket back, reload, etc.
Right. And the thing is, Paul, you're quite right in terms of their approaches. They had two totally different approaches. And, I would think that actually the PNM's cerebral approach is one that only appeals to a very small subsector of the population. Let's be honest. The general masses, they love the platform rhetoric, the move along, the bacchanal, the cock it back and rock it back and unload the clip. And they love that kind of gun talk on the political platform, whether figuratively or literally. So I think that in that regard, Kamala's campaign resonated with quite a few people. But then, as I pointed out, I think when we discussed this, I'm not sure if it's with you, it might have been with one of the lesser stations.
So many to choose from.
I made the point that there appeared to be a subtle subcontext, and this points to what Wendell is speaking to, of a racial element in the way that message was being portrayed and parlayed. And I urged the opposition leader to be careful to ensure that she makes that clear distinction, that it's not a sense of basically, okay, what does a bandit look like? Good, we're going and shoot that kind of person. If you understand me, we have to be careful with that type of rhetoric, So therefore, I think that would have backfired among persons who might have been on the fence or who may have been opposed to the UNC. They certainly would not have supported her in that rhetoric. So again, her appeal, as I say, resonated with her base, right? So, what they do, they are mining votes. They keep digging deeper and deeper among their own hardcore supporters, and they're getting more votes in their traditional areas, which they will win anyhow. So in other words, you're winning by a bigger margin.
But I don't agree with Mrs. Pasabi-Sessa's use, because I think the language is too inflammatory and a bit irresponsible in some instances. I think it resonated. I agree with you. With more than just her base.
Yes.
Because everybody is feeling the effects of crime.
Right, yes, of course.
I think you might have missed what Martin said there, Paul, because he's saying, yes, it did, but it would have, the interpretation at the end of the day was divisive. And
right,
people
that's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Speaking of crime, is a good segue before we end. The police service, Mrs. Harewood Christopher, I think, if I'm not mistaken, she was appointed in November last year. Would that be correct? And given the year past her birthday or something like that, when that scenario came up.
Her extension was in May, I think.
In May. How do you think the service is doing under Mrs. Harewood Christopher presently?
Well, it seems that I saw a report where the goodly Minister of National Security chose not to even comment on the performance of the Commissioner of Police. And I thought to myself, well, maybe for once we are seeing a scenario where, the minister decided to remain silent and, use the wisdom of silence as his option, because we saw where Miss Christopher herself has had a penchant for giving herself ratings which don't seem to reflect public sentiment in any way, shape, form, or fashion. We saw it at the Police Association, at their Sports and Family Day. We saw it at the Independence Day, celebrations, where she used a comparison quite curiously, of one murder difference, to the date between last year and this year, to say, well, our strategies are working. Really, you planned and worked this down to such a science that you worked it out that you would have one murder less after 8 months. Really? Okay, so let's go 3-4 days later. Let's go to now where we are past 400 murders. Compare it to last year's figures. Where does that leave us? I mean, come on, you're insulting the intelligence of the population.
Not a great communicator, and I see that with no reservation at all. But to be fair, on the other side of the conversation, the police have had some successes. They dealt with the 3D machine printing scenario. They broke up a meth lab. They broke up another type of synthetic drug lab. They've had some successes. I don't think they've maximized them well.
I mean, there's the $21 million cocaine fine.
$21 million
yes. So I understand that, Paul. I understand that. But my point is, the true measure of the success of the police service in this regard has to do with how each and every one of us feels. Do you feel safer and more secure when you go about your daily activities, that you can go out on an evening or a night to a restaurant, go to a movie, go to the theater, go and see a good play, hopefully something by Richard Raghubal or some other, actor, where you can now take your family out and you can feel safe and say, well, yes, I can come back home without looking behind, without checking to see if anybody's following me, without checking to see if there's somebody waiting by my gate. That is really the true measure of it. And, I have friends who tell me they feel much safer and more secure when they go abroad and they, then they could relax and let their hair down and, that kind of thing, as opposed to when they're back in Trinidad.
I think the answer to that is no for me. But added to that is, I think if the public got a sense or had a feeling that the police had the criminals under siege and they were subduing them, it would also add to that feeling.
Of course, indeed. And I don't think the public feels that way. And that, I think, is really the true measure of it. But, gentlemen, I have to ask to be excused. I realize I have another appointment.
and I know checkout time is coming up, so.
You have a checkout time?
Hey,
Martin, thank you for being with us. Always a pleasure.
Mobilang and Bacchanal Station.
Is you talk about
like it like that?
You put the Victor in it. Is you talk about two men not telling in the same hole?
Good morning and goodbye. I am leaving.
Check out for who? He is home. I saw his Russian samurai.
I am leaving. Goodbye.
Bye, man.
Martin George, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
You have a great weekend. Be safe.
You got to go by Martin online, yes?
He has a beautiful place in Tobago.
I don't know if you saw what I saw, but
I kind of got a glimpse. That's why I was saying check out for who.
Have a great weekend. You all be safe. Please be safe.
Yes. It's white weekend here in Braga. Everybody's wearing white this weekend. And lots of concerts all over the place. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I'm looking forward to it. Folks, have a wonderful weekend. Be careful on the roads and remember to let go and let go. Look, Richard wearing white already. Richard, you can't get a white shirt to buy here.
Thanks, Richard Rich, for spending 1 minute with us on the morning show.
Well, he spent the hour. He just didn't say anything. We can't hear
him. That's a real public servant. You understand? He come to work.
That is a real public servant.
He really didn't do nothing, but he can say he come to work.
Yeah, the invoice will reflect that. Bye-bye, Richie. I think he's talking, but nobody's here.
You're muted, Richie.
You're muted.
No, I said today was a bad day for me. I really shouldn't have even bothered, but...
You're alive, Richard. You're healthy. How could it be a bad day?
No, I mean a bad day in terms of I'm doing so many other things this morning.
Oh, you mean a busy day?
In that sense. Okay. That's what I mean.
All right. Say that. Don't say a bad day.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Have a great weekend.
Yep.
As I said.
Always have a great weekend. When, of course, the Power Breakfast Show always celebrates weekends. That's one thing we do better than anybody else, of course, besides Stoke. So have a fantastic weekend. Remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Put a smile on your face. It's Friday, wherever you
All
are.
right.
Thank you, guys. Talk to you guys bright and early come Monday morning. Hopefully,
Peace,
Richie.